Did that inspire confidence or sheer terror of this team? Yeah. Alright, good. At least we're on the same page. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 9 of the regular season that was so terrifying I can barely make eye contact with the camera. The Astros win 9-7 in the 10th inning, making a incredible comeback despite trailing in this game 7-1 at one point. The Astros led 1-0, and then here came the Twins to blow your doors off. They come back with 7 unanswered runs over the course of 4 innings, and the Astros enter the 5th in a position where you are trailing 7-1, and you basically have no hope. And at that point, the game was done. It was over with. We had accepted it. Everyone kind of dusted their hands and were like, well, that's a hard one to swallow. And, like, had that been how the game happened, I think this would have been their official, guys, you're kind of running out of runway here. I understand it's only game 9, but you can't be doing this. You can't have all these performances where your offense, which is supposed to be a big part of everything on account of who you're missing pitching-wise, your offense is supposed to carry the burden right now. And if it would have been another game where they just get shelled and it's like 7-1, you can't. At that point, you don't only start calling into question the offense, but that's when you can really start to be like, you're having pitching performances where you can't really get mad at the offense because, like, yeah, it would be nice if you scored more than 1 run. It'd be nice if you allowed less than 7. But the Astros offense, for the first true time this year, picked up a terrible pitching performance, and that's what it was. It was a terrible pitching performance from Ronel Blanco that put him down, I want to say 5-0 to begin it. I think he was in there for the first 5, and then it was Contreras. For the first 4 was Blanco, and then the next 3 were Contreras. It was a terrible pitching performance from the 2 of them. After they left, oh my god, it was like a different game. It was like a different game. And the Astros eventually limp into the 5th inning. And they're down 7-1. And you can't expect a team to put up 7 runs and make a comeback in 1 inning. But you can start to chip away at it. Altuve grounds 1. He's safe at first. Weird little fielding error there. The Astros, it's not much, but you get a run home. That's something. You can be happy about that. And then you get Isaac Paredes with a single, sends another run home, and it's, hey, you're chipping away at it. And then Jeremy Pena lines out, but Altuve, hustling, gets home. And hey, you're still down by 3 runs, but you chipped away at it. You picked up 3. Not too long later, Isaac Paredes, another big hit, sends another run home. And it's 7-5. You got the 7th, 8th, and the 9th inning. If you can get run here and there, you'll be fine. They wouldn't. You find yourself in the 9th with a team down 2 runs, and it seems insurmountable because they've not done it. They haven't proven themselves this season to be clutch. They haven't proven themselves this season to be high octane. They haven't proven themselves to be much of anything, to be honest. They're just a team trudging along through the first 8-9 games of the season. But it was in that moment that Yordan Alvarez, and you find yourself in the 9th inning, still down by 2 runs. And it seems pointless to play out the inning, because all season long, all they've done, I say all season long, it's now 9 games deep, is disappoint. They fail to score runs. They fail to find clutch hits. They fail to do anything with runners aboard. But finally, Yordan Alvarez launches one out of the confines of, I do not remember what their stadium is called, I'm going to be honest, and he ties it. And it was as if every complaint that we've lobbed at them all season, get it, lobbed, disappeared with a single swing of a bat. Because they had come back from this insurmountable feat. The offense did what they were supposed to do, and they tie it with a clutch, not just hit, but a clutch home run from a person again, in the same vein, who we have been promised will be great, and he found it. And they tie it. And you go into the 10th, and the extra runner rule, which has plagued them for forever. It's not a problem. Altuve with an RBI single gives the Astros their second lead of the game. Almost forgot. And then a beautiful, beautiful little double steal. Altuve takes second. Myers takes home. It is upheld, which is the very important part of that call. And the Astros have a 2-run cushion to make it 9-7. And Josh Hader, who we've complained about all season long, comes in for a 2-out save and picks up a win. He doesn't even get the save, just the win with 3 strikeouts. No hits, no walks, no runs. The starting pitching was not great in Ronel Blanco. The first little bit of relief with Luis Contreras was also not great. 3 runs in 2 1/3 innings. Rafael Montero pitched a really good pair of innings. Picked up a pair of strikeouts. Gave up a walk, which isn't great. Or pardon me, picked up 3 strikeouts. The walk isn't great. The hit isn't great. But he looks pretty good. You get Brian King, who also picks up a strikeout. Brian Abreu had the most trouble of the bullpen, to be quite honest, aside from Contreras, obviously. And Hader, dude. It was the Hader that had been promised to us. The Hader foretold to us. And he came. He came to play. And he came to absolutely just clutch up with a scoreless 9th to send them to extras and a scoreless 10th to give them a win. And the Astros win the series. Still managed to be below 500 on the season, but managed to win the series. And that's all I can really ask for. The offense is obviously the star. A few days ago, it was the middle part of the lineup doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And today, in a normal turn of events, it was the top of the lineup doing the heavy lifting. It was the top of the lineup actually making their presence known. Altuve with a pair of hits, a pair of RBIs, a pair of runs scored. Yordan Alvarez with the game-tying home run. Also another RBI thrown in there and another hit thrown in there. Christian Walker with a pair of hits. We take what we can get. Although it is not the top of the lineup, Brendan Rodgers with another pair of hits. I am sorry, I did not know your game. And the star of the day, the main story, the player who finally, to this point, has dazzled, Isaac Paredes with a 4-hit day, pair of RBI. And the Astros offense picked them up. It was beautiful. Does it inspire confidence on the pitching end? Not necessarily in Blanco, and not necessarily in one of the guys that you're hoping is good for long relief. But at least, this is I'm about to girl math it for you guys. At least it was a relief pitcher who is not meant to be big, important innings guy. And at least it was a starting pitcher who is still young. It happens. I'm not going to freak out over it. Now, if he continues to have like an over 9 ERA after a couple weeks into the season, then we'll start having the conversation about Ronel Blanco. But on account that last season, he was probably the best starting pitcher the Astros had for the full season, if you don't count Kikuchi. So, like, I'm not going to judge it quite yet, but the first 2 starts have not really inspired confidence for Ronel Blanco. But this inspired a whole lot of confidence from the top of the lineup. It was a masterful game from the top end of the lineup. And while I didn't appreciate it, I will say it now before I do forget, Jake Myers had 3 walks today, which is insane. Massive part at the bottom end of the lineup, turning it over a lot, which is, again, super, super important. That's why a guy like Jake Myers or Chas McCormick is important at the bottom of the lineup. Jake usually is going to be the one that probably gets a base hit. McCormick is going to be the one that usually will draw a walk to turn it back over to the top of the lineup. But one of those guys being there to give Altuve, Yordan, Paredes, whoever, a shot with runners aboard is super, super important. And he scored a pair of those runs. Granted, one of them... Actually, does the extra inning run count for that, or no? I do not know offhand. I know it does not count as an RBI or an earned run. Or it does count as an RBI, not an earned run. So I suppose it would count as a run scored. One of them is from that, but Myers was a OBP king today. Billy Bean, looking down and smiling at us for a masterful performance there out of Myers. And the Astros escape this weird series from the Twins, or with the Twins, somehow with a series victory. And, yeah, I think I'm good to turn the chapter on that and never look back. And I know what you're thinking, finishing this series, which is, Weston, golly, the first 9 games of the season have been great, but you know what I've missed? Being awake at 2 in the frickin' morning, watching an Astros baseball game. Fear not, dear children. The Astros prepare for their series on the West Coast against the Seattle Mariners. The first game is tomorrow night at 9:40 p.m. Eastern, 8:40 Central. At least it's not starting at 10:10 yet. The Astros are going to send Hayden Wesniewski to the mound, and the Mariners are going to send Logan Gilbert to the mound. I'll be here very, very late afterwards to talk about it, or possibly very, very early Tuesday morning. We're going to make that decision in real time tomorrow night. But as for right now, that is all I have to say. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.